Here at Vacuum Wars, we're starting a new mini-series looking at some cordless vacuums that we haven't reviewed before. And first up is the Hoover ONEPWR Blade Plus cordless stick vacuum cleaner BH53310. It has a really cool concept with its ONEPWR battery system. We put it through all of our usual tests, and this video will be the results and our review. So links in the description to everything I'll mention, and let's get started. Right out of the gates, let's talk about the so-called ONEPWR system from Hoover, which basically means they're using the same removable battery for a family of 9 different Hoover products. Everything from leaf blowers to carpet cleaners to hard floor washers. And since it's fairly cheap to buy additional batteries, you can technically get as much runtime as you want out of these products if you had more batteries. So before we go any further, I just want to say I think the ONEPWR concept from Hoover is a great idea, and I wish that more companies would make their battery technology more universal. The rest of the features on the Hoover Blade Plus are pretty basic. It has a low and a high power suction setting, a 2-power brush speed setting, several different attachments including a wall mount, and LED lights. We measured its airflow at different places on the vacuum and on both power settings and found that it had 32 CFM of airflow on high power and 22 CFM on low power, which is pretty good for the Hoover's low to mid-level price range. It's about the same as the Dirt Devil, the Bissell, and the Dayak. But if you compared it to the much more expensive cordless vacuums like the Dyson V10 or V11, it would seem pretty lackluster in terms of airflow. With its suction, it measured about 20 inches of water lift, which is below average across the board. It's not crazy low or anything, but it's not great. Its debris pickup ability had its pros and cons. For example, I found that because of the design of the head and having a great seal, it was really good with the crevice pickup test. And it was good with debris pickup on hard floors and carpets with everything from fine debris to medium-sized debris. Though it did start to snowplow with much more than that on hard floors, and while it did a little better on carpet with snowplowing, it still required me to lift up the vacuum or to take off the head and use the wand only to actually complete the test. Also, since it doesn't have a brush roll shutoff switch, just a brush speed change, and because its suction isn't the best, I found picking up large debris in this way particularly frustrating. On the carpet deep clean test, where we embed 100 grams of sand into medium pile carpet and weigh the bends before and after, it got 92% twice in a row, which is pretty decent for a cordless vacuum. Though we are starting to see more 100% scores with more expensive cordless vacuums these days, like the Dysons, but 92 is pretty good for this price range. With the filtration test, it was pretty much what I've come to expect with cordless vacuums in this price range, which is to say it doesn't have a sealed system or a HEPA filter, and it failed both our 5-micron fog test and the dry particle sealed room test pretty badly. Basically, there aren't many cordless vacuums at all in this price range that have good filtration, so this isn't very unexpected. As I said, I love the ONEPWR battery concept, but its individual charge time is pretty nominal. Hoover says it can last 35 minutes per charge, but that's on low power with suction-only attachments. So we tested the other extreme, which is on high power with the cleaner head attached, and it got 13 minutes and 15 seconds, which is pretty comparable to some of the others in this price range, but really it's a little on the low side considering its power output. I would definitely get an extra battery if I bought one of these, especially if I had more than a small apartment to clean. It was about the same weight as the Dysons, but I did really like how the handle was shaped, where you could use it from the side or put your hand toward the top where the center of gravity is, and it seemed a lot lighter on the forearm when you used it that way. Its bin size was fairly big at 0.6 liters, not as much as the super big Dyson V10 or V11, but not too far away either. Thanks in part to the interesting way they mounted the bin, I'm sure. So while I really like the concept of the ONEPWR system from Hoover, and some of the other products in that line look really cool, I'm not much of a fan of the Blade Plus cordless stick vacuum. Even though it's fairly inexpensive, I was expecting a bit more out of it. It's not a terrible cordless vacuum by any means, but it's not one of my favorites. You can see some of the vacuums that are our favorites in the description. Consider a like, or even better, a subscription to Vacuum Wars to keep up with all the latest vacuums, robot vacuums, and carpet cleaners, and thanks for watching.